What the hell is going on with global whamming? Please come back fast. We need you.
President Trump believes climate change is a hoax. We know this because he has said it over and over again.
So Obama's talking about all of this with the global warming and that, and a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay?
Okay, once again, you're confusing weather with climate. How can I explain this to you? Okay, let's watch a clip of you being a decent person.
She doesn't quit. She doesn't give up. I respect that.
See, that was weather, a quick one-time thing. Now this is climate.
I moved on her like a bitch.
I don't know what I said.
You know what? You've really had enough.
They're rapists.
Get him out of here. Don't give him his coat. Keep his coat.
And that's what's gonna get us all killed.
Coming to you live from outside the U.S. Capitol building, where President Trump will address a joint session of Congress in fewer than 24 hours. You may hear construction noise behind us during the show. That's because there is construction going on. There always is in Washington, the richest city in America. We want to thank you for that, for sending your tax dollars here. Bill Nye joins us now. Bill, it's great to see you. That doesn't sound like science to me, Bill Nye, the science guy. That sounds like something very different.
So cognitive dissonance is not a delusion. It's a feature. It's human nature. So we in the science community are looking for an explanation why climate change deniers, or extreme skeptics, do not accept the overwhelming scientific evidence for climate change. And the most reasonable explanation is you have a worldview, and then you have evidence, and the evidence disagrees with your worldview, so you deny the evidence, and then along with that, you deny the authorities that are providing the evidence. Now, if you have a better hypothesis for why climate deniers deny the overwhelming scientific evidence, bring it on.
Before the name-calling begins, and before you try to end the conversation, let's start it by asking what exactly you mean. Now, I think most people are open to the idea that the climate is changing. It has always changed, by the way, as you know.
It's the rate,
cooled.
Mr. Carlson. It's the rate that's such a concern.
The core question, from what I can tell, is why the change? Is it part of the endless cycle of climate change, or is human activity causing it? That seems to be the debate to me. And it seems an open question, not a settled question, to what degree human activity is causing that. Is that not an open question?
It's not an open question. It's a settled question. Human activity is causing climate change. The speed that climate change is happening is caused by humans. Instead of happening on timescales of millions of years, or let's say 15,000 years, it's happening on a timescale of decades.
2016 was again the hottest year on record, and the previous 17 years have been our 16 most scorching. Scientists overwhelmingly agree global warming is the culprit, and the carnage is just getting started. Ice caps, extreme weather, wildfires, droughts, and the hits keep coming. What are we doing about it? In 2015, the world took its boldest step yet to stem climate change with a historic accord in Paris. But now comes the hard part. Nations must change energy policies and invest huge amounts of money, and they may be doing it without the United States, the world's richest nation and second biggest polluter.
I am taking historic steps to lift the restrictions on American energy, to reverse government intrusion, and to cancel job-killing regulations.
68 days into his new administration, President Trump signed an executive order that stops just short of withdrawing from the Paris Agreement. Here's the situation. Decades in the making, the Paris Agreement united the US, China, and more than 190 other nations in a push to limit fossil fuel pollution. The UN-sponsored plan secured pledges to cut greenhouse gases, the emissions that trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere, in an effort to avoid the rising seas and other environmental disasters that climate models predict. But even if all pledges are met, the globe is expected to warm by as much as 3.4 degrees Celsius this century, more than the UN target of well below 2 degrees. Governments will have to offer more incentives for clean energy, scale back support for fossil fuels, make emissions more costly, and reduce deforestation. It's estimated that the deal will require $13.5 trillion of spending through 2030. Here's the argument. Unlike past climate pacts such as the Kyoto Protocol, each country set its own Paris targets and then promised to revisit and improve them. The US was primed to play a lead role in climate change, but Trump's energy independence executive order reverses Obama-era rules and encourages increased production of coal, the dirtiest fossil fuel.
My administration is putting an end to the war on coal and have clean coal, really clean coal.
The resulting policies make it very hard for the U.S. to keep its commitment to emissions reduction. Even if Trump decides to pull out of the accord, the Paris Agreement would live on. Businesses, cities, and U.S. states, such as California, are already investing in wind and solar and taking other steps to make it work.
I've actually been called an environmentalist, if you can believe that.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is why I think it's important to refer to it as climate change, right? Because then people think, oh my gosh, it's always got to be warm, and if it snows, and if it's, I don't think he understands. Not only, as you said, NOAA is saying the president is wrong, his own intel community is saying he's wrong. Here's what they say, right? This is from the intelligence community. In a written assessment of worldwide threats, the U.S. intelligence community laid out the potential security challenges posed by climate change, including threats to public health, historic levels of human displacement, assaults on religious freedom, and the negative effects of environmental degradation. So the intelligence community is saying that he is wrong about it. I don't think he understands it because maybe he just doesn't understand the science, or he doesn't want to believe in it.
He thinks that there is some raw value in being contrary. That if you go against what they say, that somehow you're striking a blow for the regular guy who doesn't want to have it put upon by all of these big brother arms all the time. That's his best defense, and it's a terrible one.
Well, maybe he's just playing to a crowd. Maybe he's just reading the room, and he understands that his folks don't want climate change to be real, so he's trying to reconfirm their beliefs already. It could just be that simple, because it would be stunning that anyone who has any knowledge and any education that they wouldn't believe in actual science and scientists.
Stunning is the word.